Welcome back to another video. In this video, I'm just gonna be covering a quick Shadowland tier list that I made that some people asked me to make because they wanted to see what they needed to, or who they needed to build, I guess, in order to push Shadowland to get the CTP selector. This tier list is my opinion, so if you see some characters here that are not in the correct tier list per se, you can, I guess, comment about it, but it's not the 100% accurate for everyone. It obviously depends on like your cards and the builds that you have and what level the character is. Maybe it's only the character is only level 50, maybe it's only 1 star, you know, it depends. Okay, quick side note, all the characters here I think have their best uniform or their newest uniform look on this tier list. It doesn't mean that you can't use the character without a uniform. I will, when I get to characters like that, for example, if you don't have, let's say you don't have Black Widow's uniform, for some reason you don't have Black Widow's newest uniform and you don't have her free uniform, the 3099 one, so you have her base look. Obviously she's not gonna be up here, she's just gonna be useless because she can't do anything, but you should definitely have the 3099 uniform for Black Widow because it's a free uniform and she can do pretty high stages with that uniform. Anyways, I'll just go over the tiers that I have. So the top one is just PvP builds. These are characters that most people will have a PvP build on them if they build the character. I mean, obviously Thanos can do some PvE. I don't know about Adam, but I know Ebony can do some, Emma can do PvE, Spider-Man, I have both of his uniforms, so this one is not gonna, this one is in the PvP section and the other one is in the PvE section. Sentry, I guess, can do some PvE, and yeah. Anyways, okay, so these characters, if you have a full PvP build on them, they obviously can't go that high. If you want to use Red Skull, you have to find, especially higher stages, you have to find a hero stage because of his passive. He has like 120% increased damage to heroes. Luke Cage, you have to find you have to find a speed stage that does a lot of damage so he can accumulate and you know, clap back. Most of these characters should be fine in the like 70 to 100 stage floors. They should be they should have enough damage to do them. Obviously depends on how much pills you have and what stage it is, and you know. Okay, next one is the We Kill tier 3s and Awakening. These are just characters that I mean, they're not as good as the rest of the tier 3s and Awakening. I think that's kind of a given by the name. So characters like Sandman, especially Sandman now because he just got it. Bullseye, I mean, he could be in a different one, but I personally don't have him, so I don't know how good, I don't know what's happening to the mouse. I don't know how good he is without a CTP of Rage, and most people don't have, I think, don't have a CTP of Rage on him anymore, so I just put him here. Mr. Sinister technically can be in this one, but let's not do that. So these characters also, they can pretty much do anywhere between 50 and 80. Maybe some can go even higher if you have a good build on them. I don't know anything about Echo. I didn't see any PvE gameplay or PvP gameplay about her. Sandman, obviously, because he's, I don't know when he was added to the game, I think 2015. So all of his skills besides the 6th skill won't do any damage on higher stages, so you have to keep that in mind if you for some reason have him transcended. Vulture 2. Vulture doesn't need a uniform to clear lower stages, so if you have a level 60 Vulture and you want to use it for floor 1 to 24, which is where you can use tier 1 characters, you can do it pretty easily. He has very easy rotation that will not let him take damage most of the time. World Tiger 2 is very good, level 60. He can even a tier 2, I mean, level 60 tier 2. he can easily go to stage 50, floor 50, floor 60 even, if you have the correct stage and stuff. These characters, most of them, not most of them, but some of them can do enough damage with base looks, so without being awakened. So without awakening, I actually don't know how good she is. He's pretty meh. I haven't used America Chavez without a uniform. Ant-Man, actually Ant-Man is also not good. Alice is good at level 60. I still have him level 60 because I cannot be asked to follow his bios, so he's pretty good at level 60 on floors 1 to 24 if you're looking for that. Black Bolt can do a little bit of damage with his gold uniforms. I don't know which one is the best one, but he can clear some very low stages without this uniform. Black Widow, the only uniform that I would suggest having for her if you don't want this one is just the 3099 one. I guess Endgame and Infinity War can also do some stages, but not as high. Bullseye can do very low stages with his base look, and obviously higher stages with this uniform. By the way, I don't want to make this video 10 hours long, so I'm gonna skip some characters that are obviously not the best, like Elsa. I think it's pretty obvious that she's not gonna perform as well as Heimdall, for example. Speaking of Heimdall, he's pretty good with his base look for low floats for 25 to 30, where you don't need level 70s yet, but you need tier 2s. Is pretty good for one of these stages. Yeah, so this Swordmaster is also pretty good with no uniform for low stages at tier 2. You don't need these guys awakened. I hope that you don't have all of them awakened or tier 3, because some of them are really bad. What's his name? Sunbelt, I think that's his name. I actually have him 4 stars, and he's pretty decent for 1 to 24. So Hyperion 2, I have him at 4 stars, I think, and he can get floor 2 done pretty easily, which is kind of funny. Black Panther is pretty bad with all of his old uniforms. He can do like the Falcon, Captain America. Sorry, not Captain America. Falcon, Winter Soldier, and War Machine stage, but it's a very low one with his base uniform or the gold cost one. Invisible Woman, I actually don't know what her performance is, so I put her in this category. Let's not talk about Crescent because I don't like the character. Okay, so now we're getting to they obviously can clear very high stages very easily. You don't need a good build on them. So just very quickly, Beta Ray Bill, even at level 60, he's very good in Shadowland. So if he's like the best one of the best characters that you have, or one of the, I don't know, let's say you have 10 tier 2 characters, and you have Sharon Rogers, Beta Ray Bill, and then a few like lower damage characters, you're obviously gonna use Beta Ray Bill for the highest one, because he's a very he has very high DPS, but the only bad thing is that after he finishes rotation, he's very vulnerable, and he only has a heal that activates once his HP gets below I think it's like 50%, and then the heal has like a half a minute, like 2.5 minutes cooldown or something. Yeah, so don't rely on his healing. These guys are pretty good. Gambit can obviously do stages without his uniform. Falcon, I don't think he can do anything without this uniform because he's pretty bad. Cable can do stages without the Kid Cable or Summer Days uniform. Captain America needs at least his 3099 uniform to do anything. Corvus, technically, if you have him awakened and you don't have his uniform, I don't know why that would happen, but he can do pretty high stages because he has a revive, so you just spam his 6th skill, which has accumulation and has a lot of damage. So yeah, Deadpool, I put Deadpool here with like a side note. This version of Deadpool can go pretty high, but to get the absolute most out of this uniform, you have to use a debuff lead, so Dr. Voodoo, for example. So you'd have to save Voodoo and not use him, I don't know, at floor 75 for example, and save him for Deadpool to use at floor 125. So just a side note. Doctor Strange, obviously the best character in the game for Shadowland. It's not even close. He's just gonna melt everything. I'm looking. Hela only has damage on her 6th skill, and also you would want to find a hero stage. For him, you want to find a villain stage. Magneto is also very good in Shadowland. You would even without his uniform, by the way, at tier 2 no build, he can easily do stage 50 for me. Null is actually pretty good. I have him at 1 star and he can do stage floor 24 at 1 star. You might have to give him an invincibility obelisk if you have him at 1 star and you want to save him for the last floor that you can use tier 1 characters on. I put both of Sharon Regel's uniform here because most people only have this one and not this one yet, or maybe new players only have this one and not this one, so both of them can go very high. Moon Knight, he can go pretty high, it depends on the build. I also put both Loki uniforms here for the same reason. Moonstone can go very high. The only thing that you should know is that she might die, because they do a lot of damage on higher stages. Like, they can definitely one-shot Moonstone if you don't keep them stun locked. Mysterio is actually here. My Mysterio is level 60, and I think when I pushed Shadowland, he was still level 60 obviously, and he did floor 102 I think, easily. He destroyed it. I'll see if I can find a screenshot. I'll put it on the screen now, so if you see it, I can show you. Yeah. Neymar needs a CTP of Rage obviously. Proxima at tier 2 she did floor 100 I think. I'll add a screenshot here because I know that I have it. She easily did it. She did it with like 2 minutes left I think. Not 2 minutes left, there's only 3 minutes. Like 1 minute left. Very easy. Anyone else? Oh, Mephisto again can do floors 1 to I wouldn't say 24 because he doesn't have an infinite skill like Null has when he's 1 star, but I'd say you can easily do floor 10 if you have an invincibility obelisk on him, and it's against a hero stage, because when he's 1 star he's in the form that does more damage to heroes. These guys, Valkyrie needs a CTP of Rage to go this high. If she doesn't have one, she'll be in this tier with an obelisk or an insight. I could add more. Okay, so next tier is the safer special stages, so the Phoenix Force stage and the Spidey stage, and I guess the last stage that is just a level 70 combat character. Anyways, you can definitely use more characters here. These are just the ones that I figured I'd put here, because obviously Spider-Man can be here, Scarlet Spider can be here, and you know, yeah. So Cyclops can go a bit higher, not that much higher. Kid Omega is pretty good. Don't have this guy, so I don't know. Okay, next tier. I'm doing my best to do this very quickly, and obviously I don't have all the characters in the game, so some of them I might be off about because I just don't have them, so I can't tell how good they are. Apocalypse is on this tier because he's very outdated and I have no idea how good he is, so I'll put him here. He might be here, I have no idea. Cersei might be a surprise to some of you. The only reason I'm putting her in this tier and not this one, because she needs to take damage to do damage. Her damage without accumulating is very bad, and the issue that she has is, yeah, they do a lot of damage on higher stages, but she has a lot of crowd control time, so they don't even damage. They can't even attack you, and then you don't take damage, and then you can't attack them. So yeah, that's why I have her at this tier and not higher, because when I pushed Shadowland, I saved her for floor 110 or something, and she just couldn't do it because she couldn't take damage. Oh, get hit, not necessarily take damage. Black Cat, very good with this uniform, very bad without this uniform. I have no idea what you can do without it, but at tier 2, level 60, no build, she did floor 80 or 90 something for me. very easily too. I'll see if I have a screenshot now. Okay, Kingo doesn't need a uniform to be in the 80 something range. If you do the epic quest, if he's only level 60, he's definitely gonna be in the tier down here. Dormammu, I don't really know because I don't have him. He might be here, he might not be. He needs a heal stage definitely. Captain Marvel, I don't know. Maybe here. This Deadpool, I don't want to talk about him. I don't even know what his all defense down is here, so I just added this uniform here. Yeah. Don't know. Iron Man is the only thing that's blocking me from putting him here is just that he sometimes has a tough time getting the opponents to below 30%, which is when his uniform passive activates, which is when you do most of the damage. So that's why he's down here. Katie is the second tier 2 character after Black Cat that is in this tier because she's pretty good. So new players should definitely build Katie, one of the first tier 2 characters, because she has a very easy rotation, she has very high damage, and she's a good leadership for Shang-Chi if you get him. Next, Medusa. I do have Medusa, and I don't know if she can be in this tier, so I'll just leave her here. Spectrum, I don't have her built up. She's very good at tier 1 for those for floors 1 to 24, but yeah. War Machine also needs to take damage to do damage, but I think his damage is much better than Celsius if neither of them take damage, if that makes sense, which is why he's not here and still here. Venom, I don't know. Speed stage, yeah. Molten Man, the third tier 2 character, he's just very good. He has high damage, he has pretty high HP, I think. He has good paralysis and stuns and stuff. Yeah, so just get an easy speed stage. I think the best one is I don't remember now because I haven't played Shadowland in like 3 months or something. Mystique, depends on what CTP you have on her. She might be here, she might not. Obviously she has her self lead, which is good. She has a passive, which is also good. She has damage, she has she doesn't have healing, but you're not gonna take a lot of damage with when you're using her. I'm looking at the clock, not the clock, the timer that the application has, and I see that's already been 17 minutes. So I'm gonna make this a bit more speedy. Nova, pretty good. Tier 2. Odin, also, if you have a CTP of Rage on him, he can be here. If you don't, he's definitely staying here. Violet is pretty good. Viper is pretty good. New players build Viper. She don't prioritize Viper, but she should be one of your first tier 2 characters. The only reason you shouldn't prioritize her is at higher floors. I think for floor 80, at least on my account, she kind of had a tough time just because her damage, the characters keep moving sometimes, so her skills get cancelled. Anyway, Professor X, honestly, it can be up here just because of how good he is at keeping the enemies stun locked. So yeah, we'll put him down. Cosmic Ghost Rider, very good. I wouldn't recommend getting his uniform now because it's very outdated, but if you have it, it's very good for him. Except of the fact that his fourth skill is very short animation. But yeah, he got damage. I put these two uniforms here just because not a lot of people have Summer Days, and maybe more people have this guy. Maybe Summer Days is here. I don't have him personally, so I don't know. Yeah, Red Guardian. Okay, so here's the story for my Shadowland push. I started using Awakening / Tier 3 characters when I got to floor 101, I think, and he was one of the first ones that I used, and guess what? I don't have his uniform, so he couldn't do it. He had an okay build. He didn't have the best build, but he just couldn't do it. I don't know how good of an upgrade this is, so don't save him for very high floors, even if you have him Awakened. Scarlet Spider, very good. Sometimes gets one-shotted, sometimes he doesn't. I have no idea what that's about. Scorpion is also very good. So in my opinion, he's the second best tier 2 characters that new players should get. Maybe the first one. Him and Katie are both very good. Gwenom, I don't know if she has the spider tag, Spider-Sense stack for the special stages with this uniform, but she's okay. 2099, very good with his base look for floors 1 to 24 at tier 1. I assume he's very good with this uniform too. Star-Lord, without his uniform, if you have, I mean, if you have his tier 3, you just spam it and then spam his skills and see if you can survive enough time until you can use it. So yeah, Storm, Taskmaster, I mean, if he's tier 3, he can definitely be up here. If he's not tier 3, he's in this tier. So just keep that in mind. Where is it? Vision needs to take damage, but it's easier for him to take damage, so he can be up here. Okay. Thing is here just because I have no idea how much damage he can do when he's awakened. When he's not awakened, even with his base look, he's pretty good for these stages. Abomination at tier 1 is very good. All of these guys pretty much, I'll just say quickly who is good at tier 1. So 1, 2, Abomination, Thing, Victorious, Thane, I guess, Angel with his base look. You don't need this uniform for him. Anti-Man, yeah, he's very good. Zemo 2, you don't need his uniform. Beast 2. Beast is actually surprisingly good. I have him with his base look, like no build, and I did flow 50, I think, with him. I don't think I have a screenshot, but I have people that can back me up on that. Bishop is very good. Blade needs his uniform. He's absolutely garbage without it. He can't do anything without his uniform. Crossbone's pretty good. Again, no uniform, just not doing anything. Dakin, actually, Dakin can be up here because I did flow 87 with him very easily, or 97 even. So yeah, we'll put him up there. Darkhawk is also pretty good. Angel, by the way, if you have his base look, don't keep him for high flows even if you think he can do it. I think it was flow 87. I had to level this guy up to level 66. I had to give him more rules. I think I have a 180 block on him now. It was such a pain. I spent like a good 50 minutes just seeing if I can get that one clear with him. It's just such a pain. I think I know how to play him the best now, just because I spent so much time on him just to get that one clear. It wasn't worth it. I got to flow 150 almost, so I didn't even need to. But yeah, Crystal is pretty good with this uniform. I guess she can do some lower stages with base look. I don't think I actually used her when I pushed Shadowland. Warpath is pretty good, tier 1, 2 if you wanna use him for 1 to 24. Dazzler, I assume she's pretty good. I don't have her. Domino can do some good damage with her base look. You don't need the uniform. Hydro Man is pretty good base look. Giant Man, I don't know how good he is or how bad he is, I guess, with his base look and his blue uniform. This one is pretty okay. Voodoo can go higher. It just depends on build, and it depends on if you want to keep him as for his lead. I don't even remember what her name is, but she's very bad with her base look and her old uniform, but she's okay with this one. I don't have it, so I don't know. Enchantress, again, you want to see if you want to keep her for lead. I personally have her at tier 1, so I just used her for 1 to 24 because I can't keep her for higher stages. Phantom X, pretty good. Ghost Panther, very good for the Venom Carnage stage that you need fire damage characters for it, very easy. Gladiator, I assume he can be here, but I have no idea. Gorilla Man, pretty good. Ghost, I guess she's good. I honestly don't know. Groot kind of needs this uniform to do well. If you have any of his other uniforms, I guess I can put him in the can't go very high tier. Iceman, I don't have him. What's his name? Iron Hammer is pretty good. Tier 1 for flows 1 to 24. I don't think he could go higher than 80, but it depends on what level he is, what build you have, what cards you have. Jubilee, I have no idea because I don't have her built up. I only have her 1 star. Same with him. I have Katie at tier 1, so she's pretty good for 1 to 24. Korath is pretty good. Magic with her base look, because I know most people only have the base look because this uniform did nothing for her, and she's tier 2 only, so you know. Yeah, so she's pretty good at tier 1 with the, even at tier 2 with the base look uniform. She does a lot of damage. Miles Morales, if you don't have any of his uniforms, he's just not going to do any damage. But if you have either of his uniforms, both of them are pretty good. He can go to these stages. Minerva, pretty good too. I wouldn't put her here because I mean, it depends, I guess, on the build. It depends a lot on the build with these characters. I don't remember what her name is. She's okay with her base look. Maybe not 80, but definitely 50, easy 50. Morgan Lafaye, she has everything you need for Shadowland. She has mind control, revive, healing, decent damage, all defense down. Nebula, she needs her endgame / team suit uniform. Other than that, she is dead. Rachel Summers, I don't have her. I've been doing my best to get her for the past 2 years, but I'm still at 4 out of 5 bios for her. She is okay, I guess. She has high all defense down, so she should be good for maybe even up here, but I don't know. Red Hulk, with this uniform, he's pretty good. Without it, he's pretty bad. You might be able to do maybe floor 36 with him, with his base look. I don't know. Nick, you don't need his uniform, but he can do pretty high stages with his base look, just because of all the buffs that he has. So make sure you get a villain stage. I don't have it higher than 1 star, so I don't know. He definitely needs his endgame uniform, or else he's not gonna do anything. He might do very low stages with his base uniform / his gold cost uniform, but obviously this one is a bump, so he might be able to do 80. I honestly don't know. Sabretooth is here and not here because all defense down. I don't know if you want to use Voodoo for him, so just keep that in mind. Nova is pretty good at tier 1, so if you're like me and you still didn't finish any of the ultimates and you have them all at level 60 tier 1, they are very good for the floors 1 to 24. Scream, she's not higher because she's very annoying. She will die in 2 seconds if you don't pay attention, and sometimes her damage just falls off. So that's why she's only here. I don't even know what's better to have on her, whether it's a damage box or an invincibility obelisk. I honestly don't know. Nimrod is a special case because if you have him tier 1, he can actually do floor 25 or higher, just because of I don't know, his summons, I think. So he's pretty good. He has a high all defense down too. She-Hulk, who only actually no, even okay, so this uniform is pretty good for Shadowland. The only other uniform that makes her do damage is the Fantastic Four uniform. You don't have either of those, she's not gonna do anything, so just keep her as a lead. Slapstick's pretty good. I don't have Strife, so I don't know. Wasp with base low can do a I guess, I don't know, floor 36, so she's okay. Weapon Hex, I have her at tier 1, she's pretty good. So I assume both of these guys actually have tier 1 level 60, so I guess both of them are pretty good. Okay, getting close to the end, it's almost half an hour. Okay, this is okay, so these guys, all of don't bother about this one. This is just all the base look / uniform, the bottom one, so just ignore it. So these 3 tiers from the can go very high, which is a very good title, I think, to the need an invincibility obelisk. These guys they just can't go very high. It pretty much sums it up right there. So Ancient One, technically, just because she's very unlikely to die, because you can spam all of her skills, she could be here, but I wouldn't do that. Give her invincibility obelisk. That would be my suggestion, just because I usually use her for the Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, Iron Fist, Punisher stage. She does pretty decent against these guys. What's his name? Mordo is actually better with his base look than his uniform. I think he's the only character in the game that has that. You just auto attack and the enemy will be stun locked, so keep that in mind. Angela. Yeah, all of these guys just don't go very high, but they can all do lower stages if you have enough patience, or if you want to use them. Mantis is pretty good just because her fifth skill keeps the enemies in a stun lock, so they can't do anything. Her damage is eh. Shuri, I know people don't have the uniform, but she can do okay with the base uniform. Silk is here, and up here just because not many people, not necessarily not many people, but people don't have her summer uniform. So just so you know, she can do uh, low stages with the web uniform. Anyone else that I need to cover here? No. Okay, Craven. Uh, he's okay. I keep forgetting what his name is. Claw. Ulysses Claw. That's his name. He's also decent. Yeah, needs a block. They have enough iframes and stuff, but sometimes the damage is not there. Werewolf definitely needs an invincibility block. He has like 10 hits overall. I think I misspelled invincibility. No, I didn't. He has like 10 hits, so on all 5 of his skills, so you definitely don't want to give him a damage block. But he can do okay because he has an 80% damage buff, I think, on his 5. I don't want to talk about Modok because he's Modok. Titania, you know, these are the characters that are you're like, you only use them if you really need to. But again, if you really need them to get to 135 and you barely get to 135, I just wouldn't push yet because it's not worth it. Just wait until you have more characters. Satana doesn't need the uniform. If you don't have a uniform, you definitely need an invincibility obelisk because she will die super quick. Destroyer, I have an egg on him. He's okay. And these guys, yeah, so they can all do it. Maybe not him because he's pretty bad. They can all do it. It's just a matter of how patient you are, or if you use a team up for them. Maybe Hellcat can do it on her own, but you don't want to use Deathlock. I think he has a lead. Anyway, so let's assume he has a 20% all attack lead. So you don't want to use him by himself, but you want to use Hellcat, so you have a lead. You use his lead and you use her damage. Yeah, that's what I mean by team up. Yeah, that's basically it. For people that want to push, if you want specific help for specific characters, you can comment / DM me on Discord and I can help you specifically looking at your cards and your character and to give you like advice on what you should do with the build. Yeah, I think this is pretty good. This is a pretty good tier list. Obviously you might not agree with all of these choices, which is fine. It's fine. Yeah. Anyways, this is a pretty long video, so I apologize for that, but a friend of mine asked me to do this, so I'll do it. Why not? If you have any more ideas for videos that I could make in the next few days, I would be happy to make them because I'm very bored and have nothing to do. Yeah, so see you in the next one. Bye.